Welcome back, everyone. As we track Hurricane Ian, an 85-mile-per-hour Category 1, north-northeast movement at 10 miles per hour, some heavier rain just at the coastlines here of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and we're anticipating a landfall in South Carolina tomorrow. That landfall could be somewhere between probably Charleston and Myrtle Beach, and that could be a Category 1 hurricane with storm surge that might be as high as 7 feet. We'll talk more details of that coming up here in just a moment, but first, let's get to meteorologist Reynolds Wolf as he reports from Charleston tonight.
That's right, Cody, from Charleston, South Carolina, where it has been an interesting day. Intermittent showers that have been coming and going, light to moderate activity, but nothing too heavy yet. But the hammer is going to drop as we make our way into the overnight hours and certainly by tomorrow. Looks like midday could be the time where things truly intensify, possibly making landfall along the South Carolina coast, and this would be the third landfall. Now, when you think about South Carolina and certainly the Charleston area, Charleston, founded back in 1670, has had a storied history with these tropical systems. And when you think about the month of September, September is a time where things do tend to get rough here. In fact, you look back at history, in 1959, you had Gracie that made its way to the shores back in September 30th, and September 21st of 1989, you had Hugo. And let me tell you, when you live in this area and you think about the storms, it certainly leaves a demarcation point for the people that call this region home. They remember life before, during, and after Hugo. So with those learned lessons, they take that information, they apply it from the past to the present, and hopefully it will help them stay safe as we make our way into the future. It's going to be a long day tomorrow, no question about it, affecting so many people. But the story, as we mentioned, does not begin or end at the water's edge, right along the coast. It could be a problem all across the lowland. And then at the same time, we could also see the potential of heavy rainfall into North Carolina and maybe even back into the Appalachians. So there's a big area that we're talking about that could be affected with the system. It's not going to be the same animal that made its way on the Florida shores, but still, with a third landfall, it will pose a tremendous threat for so many people across the region. Coming from Charleston, South Carolina, quiet now, no doubt. Again, the faint breeze, but aurora is expected by tomorrow. Let's send it back to you.
Things definitely get rougher for us tomorrow, that's for sure. Reynolds, thanks. How about a look at some of the damage we've seen in Lee County, Florida? Storm surge extensive. Homes that were even catching on fire. Causeways ripped in two. Some of the barrier islands cut off. The only way to access them now is by boat. Can't get there by vehicle, which certainly slows down the recovery process and to slow down the rescue process as well. The winds fierce, snapping poles, ripping roofs off of homes. The surge coming in and devastating some of Fort Myers Beach. Some of the older structures were totally taken out. You can see where some buildings used to stand, and there's literally just piles of rubble now, or literally nothing, as the water washed it away. Devastating scenes here. That's another causeway that was taken out. And you see people doing some cleanup today, unfortunately. A lot of trees that came down. The power crews, though, in some places, already up. Now, this in Miami, where we were a lot farther away from the core of Ian, but we did lose some power sporadically in South Florida here, and so the crews, at least conditions good enough for the crews to get up there and start doing some repair. We're going to have a lot of repair to do across the west coast of Florida, through central Florida, then up towards, say, the Jacksonville and Daytona Beach areas, because of the swath of Ian went right in that direction and knocked out power to more than 2.5 million people. Now, that number's come down, and that's good. About 2.2 million folks, customers, I should say, without power right now. A lot of those in Lee County, in Volusia County, Collier County. Lee County particularly hard hit with a very strong right front quadrant hit. That's why we had the highest surge there, as well as the highest wind speeds. Here's where the wind is right now. The core of hurricane winds is highlighted in purple on this map, and then the thunderstorm force winds are highlighted in red, 58 plus miles per hour, and then tropical storm force winds right in here in orange. That really has expanded quite a bit, feeling those from Florida all the way up into North Carolina. But those are going to move onshore here and push in likely somewhere between Charleston and Myrtle Beach with a right front quadrant hit that may really maximize some surge around Myrtle Beach. Want to give you that heads up. Here's a look at the winds currently. A lot of the winds are parallel to the Carolina coastline right now, or offshore. Winds gusting this evening, 35 to 40 miles an hour, getting more intense tomorrow with expected landfall midday, and the winds really start to crank, but go well inland Some places like Fayetteville, Raleigh, Charlotte could see 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which may also cause some sporadic power outages. Also, keep in mind, this is a very forested area. And so now you're pushing a lot of wind into a place with a lot of trees. You can expect extensive power outages even away from the coast. Be prepared for that and make sure if you're operating a generator, you're doing it outside and correctly.